Hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Alright, and I see Wish is also in chat, but he's muted for a second. Alright, I sent you an invite. Chelsea fan?
Hello.
Of course. Forever and ever. Alright, jump in here, Juushichi. So, we're inviting Juushichi in here because obviously this guy is like one of the best Aksys players, and he's super dope.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
He's got a nice Aurier.
I might be a little okay. My Aurier is kind of nice though.
It is kind of nice.
But good job, you two. It was really fun watching you two square off. I found out about it when I was streaming like my hitbox training, so I had to host up and watch you guys. You guys go at it a lot in our Midwest tournaments too. I don't know if Sammy has been paying attention, but yeah, they're super sick.
No, I've been what's it called? Low Kick actually was nice enough to provide like a lot of their YouTube library for me to watch and like use on stream. So we've been talking a lot between us and Low Kick, and like, so yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Midwest stuff. You guys are definitely duking it out there like every week. It's awesome.
A wonderful collab. I'm glad that you guys were able to talk together. But enough about us. We can talk about this set. Havard, what was kind of your reflection of the set? It seemed like a lot of near misses when I was watching.
Yeah, I had a couple drops. Well, maybe even more than a couple, but I had some drops that were a little rough that probably would have taken some of the games. But overall, I felt like I was a little impatient on defense. The couple of times I found like a lot of success in the corner, I felt while taking corner pressure, that is.
Yeah.
I was just like holding it for a really long time. But I just couldn't bring myself to keep doing it. I wanted to try and figure out if there was some other way to get out.
That makes sense. Wish, what were your thoughts on the matchup? Because you pulled away in the middle. I think it was like 6-2 at one point.
Yeah, every time me and Havard fight, I always come away thinking, what did he learn to beat me this time? And how can I beat that next time?
Right.
And lately, Havard's become Jumpman, so I've had to force myself to anti-air.
Yeah,
No one anti-airs.
A lot of the J8Cs were like super clean, and then I saw Havard like clear it with the J2C. That was so sick. I usually like get anti-aired when I try to do it because I can't get high enough.
Right.
So I'll be running that back and watching so I can see what kind of height I can get. That was like cool interaction.
I even went and labbed some round start situations because Havard really loves that J6C, I think that is. Yeah. And I feel like I need to find some way to not get hit by that and still run my game, or I'm just gonna lose.
It's very good.
That move is godlike. Yeah, that move is very, very, very good.
It has a crazy strong hitbox in the air, and it's pluses all hell.
What I really liked seeing from you, Wish, because I know you do it against me, and you did it against Havard, especially in your streak. Because Havard fell back to fireball pressure, you would shield. It got you into trouble a couple times, but you would shield 6-6C, and then as the fireball was starting to come out, you would just press like 5B or 2B, and you were clipping fireball like a lot. So that was a really good adjustment for that too.
Yeah, sometimes I try to press 5B in case he jumps, or I would just commit to the low and hope for the best.
Sure. So, Sammy, what did you think of that matchup? Nanase versus Akatsuki is like kind of rare, because like I feel like there aren't a whole lot of Nanase players like around.
I would agree. The way that I saw that matchup going was a lot of like basically Akatsuki trying to get Nanase in the corner and then like asking her to commit to something way heavy once you're in there, right? Because like he can space out to that range where fireball's kind of difficult to deal with. But when I saw Havard play, he played it like slightly more aggressive than that. So did I read that wrong, or is Havard playing it correctly?
I would probably say that Havard has more experience in the matchup than me at this point. The one piece that I might note, and this is something Wish knows that I yell at him about, if you play back a little bit further and you shoot those fireballs, there are many times that Wish was sitting on like 100-meter, and Sword Car goes through projectiles from frame 3, so it makes it really dangerous to sit back, and I think that's why Havard decided to go in more.
Gotcha.
Just so he didn't give him the comfortable spacing to see Sword Car through some fireballs. Is that the case, Havard?
Yeah, it's super important once Wish gets like 100-meter to make sure I space my fireballs really well so he can't do it.
Right.
The only like counterplay I have to that is to be spaced out so far that I can DP afterwards or have enough meter to reaction cancel in his super flash.
That's hard to do. Like I'm not very good at it personally. Were you about to say something, Wish?
I know my locals, especially a certain someone, have been getting on me to use my EX Sword Car a lot more. It actually, the projectile inbolt kicks in on frame 2, so basically if the fireball isn't right on top of me, I can just throw it out. But Havard's done some responses to that in the past that kind of frightened me off just throwing it out. He's shown me the ways of the fireball and the EXDP.
We've been playing each other for like well over a year at this point now. Between like we were also playing at the same local before Corona closed that down. So we have a lot of like familiarity between ourselves as well in game. There's a lot of like layer 3 on the first match type stuff that's going on. So it's like not the most perfect example of how the matchup should be played in that way.
One of the
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, please go ahead, Wish.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say it's a very good example of how to fight me specifically.
Right, and once you get into, especially like in a 1st to 10 format, or like I should say like a longer format in general, and especially you guys know each other, like the more that the matchup like slightly breaks down when it's closer to even, because it just ends up being more like playing against the opponent.
Yeah, one of the key interactions that I saw between these two, I think they've kind of internalized it well. Because Nanase likes to poke long lows, so like 2B, dash 2B, dash 2C, that opens up Tatsu a lot. Like Tatsu becomes very, very good. And so Wish adjusts for that by doing like either neutral jump or up back fireball, which calls out dash Tatsu most of the time.
Right.
And if he wants to aggress, he'll do like micro dash 5B. You saw him interrupt that because he talked about it interrupting jump startup. Sometimes it hits fireballs. It'll, because it's frame 8, it clips like dash Tatsu before it has the opportunity to come out too. So 5B is like an extremely important neutral tool for Nanase to ward off Akatsuki too. So that interaction that you would probably normally see with like Tatsu going over lows gets checked by 5B. It's like really interesting.
Another thing is that Sword Car is very, very good against Tatsu, actually.
Yeah.
It surprisingly just destroys it. It looks like it's so low to the ground that Tatsu should go over it, but not a chance. You'll get full comboed for trying that.
That's really weird.
Counter hit AA Sword Car like really sucks. It's such a good starter.
It is.
Yeah, especially if it hits high in the air. So I get the pickup with 3C.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask Havard, basically when you're getting to that point where you were like thinking a lot about how Wish was gonna bust out of the corner, right? Because a lot of the times, like I feel like a lot of the momentum that you lost was because he did DP into super, and like he would basically just try his best to negate all this pressure. When that happened, what were you thinking for the most part? Or sorry, like when you're dashing up on him while he has meter, like what's your thought there?
I I am trying to keep my frame traps airtight because it doesn't really matter too much. ADP into super doesn't matter in that situation. And most of his supers are going to be relatively irrelevant if I keep my strings airtight. It's just the DPs, the like true invul DPs, that are going to be a problem.
Right.
And I only really start to worry about that while I'm cornering or pressuring him in the corner once he has CS, because otherwise it's just sort of a random thing coming out. And it's not full reset to neutral, but it's basically a reset to neutral. So I'm not too worried about it. I'd like to avoid it, but I just try to mix up not too much, but what pressure strings I use in the corner to avoid it.
Gotcha. Okay. So, because I was wondering if it was like just a fact of life in the matchup, or it was like more of a...
No, I was just... All of the ADPs into Super were me trying to bait the BDP or a VO or something.
Right. And
getting hit for it. And I was trying to find anything to hit the Super. Or, well, the first couple I thought it was the BDP, so I was trying to go for 6C punish.
Right.
Yeah, I should have just DP'd through all of them.
Okay.
But I just wanted to do something that was going to be a more full punish.
Gotcha. The reason why I kept mentioning it as DP, because I didn't know if there was like a huge visual difference between A and B DP. I thought it just went higher, and I wasn't seeing it right.
Yeah, I think BDP just goes a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Visually.
Okay.
And I was getting them confused quite a bit.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. It's like I really didn't feel like I knew which one it was until he canceled in something.
Yeah, almost every time I was like, well, I'll go for it and hope that this was me baiting it right. There were a couple times I did, or maybe once only, but I one or two times where I didn't punish BDP because I was scared of the super cancel now.
Oh, right, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, at some point you have to sort of make a distinction, or you have to make a decision on whether it's worth it anymore or not.
That's honestly something I just need to go into the lab and like look at that situation, because I feel like I could have run under the fireballs,
right?
At least mid-screen, or I could have maybe 5C early enough is a good compromise to still get a punish. But I feel like there's something I can be doing there, and I'm just not.
Do you have an idea, Wish?
I mean, at that close distance, EX fireballs will almost always be minus. But most of the time, people just aren't prepared to properly shield the fireball so that they can throw out any sort of button to punish it.
Right.
Or I'll do it so low to the ground that it just messes with their reactions anyway, and they'll get hit or something. Alternatively, gee, let me think about that. I don't know. Maybe I guess just reacting to the super flash and mashing parry.
I tried to mash DP on, I think, the actual last one that happened, and defender, like, during super flashes, the person defending has a much worse buffer window, so it just didn't come out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I hate doing 2-2 input after flash.
It feels impossible. I hate it.
I absolutely hate it.
That makes sense.
I don't think that you can see fireball through it either, because
no,
I'm pretty sure it'll hit you before frame 3 anyway. Like the fireballs are basically on top of you, so like my best bet is like probably to just block it and try to take my turn with like 5B or something like that. That's like the only thing that I would think of.
I wish 214C got projectile invul fast enough, but I don't think it will at that point blank range.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the fireballs will just be too active and hit before, and like counter hit. Like we saw Wish actually hit that where the fireballs counter hit, and so that gives you like coming out of the corner the A sword car follow up to take you back into the corner.
Yeah, The proration on that is really harsh, actually. So my comboing off of that is basically limited to, okay, I'm out of the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, though. I take that as a Akatsuki, too. ADP into EX Fireballs.
Right.
I mean, if I really wanted the combo off of ADP, assuming you would press a button or you just got hit by it, I would do jump 2 and 4C.
Mm-hmm.
That would give me enough time for a more substantial combo, but it's also riskier because I'm a lot more minus on block, even with the distance I put between myself and my opponent, because I think I'm -7, -9, something like that.
So at that point, you're like, there's no reason to put 2 risks in this already risky thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, basically, I'm already taking a risk, throwing out ADP, and then EX canceling in the corner. Where if it doesn't work out, I'm at best I lose my turn. Well, I lose my chance at taking my turn back anyway.
Yeah, and at worst, you're basically losing in like all momentum by eating a combo and losing 100% meter.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. That's what I meant when I was talking, like, before we started the stream. I was like, there's one cool thing about Undernight players is where they think about little things like that where other games don't. Where it's like, other games would have just gone for the big, giant, like, Hail Mary, like, I'm gonna do this risk, I might as well do it. Like, Undernight way more thinks about the, like, well, if I'm going to do a crazy thing, I might as well make it, like, as best as possible or something like that. It's very unique to this game.
Yeah, I think for better or for worse, because this kind of like gameplay isn't necessarily for everybody, but like I feel like there's a lot of bunting in Undernight.
Yeah,
like you do like some things that are kind of risky, kind of not, but like if it works, you just kind of take it, and if it doesn't, it's just like, okay, well, it's not too bad. I'm not gonna like necessarily like strike out real bad.
Yeah.
Or like I won't look as bad when I strike out or whatever. It's like kind of cool. Like you have a little bit of protection, but yeah.
Oh, it's way cool. Like it's a game where like little things matter, and not in the sense of like earning the big hit, but rather they like amount to like little advantages to like lord over the opponent. Like there's a time where Wish would shield a fireball, and like Havard recognized that at that point, like if he didn't make some sort of like aggressive movement towards winning the cycle, that he wasn't going to win it, and he's going to give up like much of the control of the neutral. So it's like that little thing of like shielding just a fireball, like basically like started that whole interaction.
There's a thing, I think I talked to Wish about it when we did like a small coaching session in the Midwest Discord. But since you brought up like kind of using small advantages to like lord over your opponent, I figured it would be interesting to restate. And people in the chat probably also have seen it. Some of the more experienced players like Godhunts is in here.
Right.
Havard did this to you a lot, but I don't think he got to capitalize on it too much. We talked a little bit about how just by threatening movement, you can coax CS out of people. Like when I talk about it on commentary, I'm like, he got him to CS for nothing.
Right. So
it's like you gave up your advantage there to go to neutral, but like he's not doing anything, so it's fine.
Right.
Like it's okay. So one of the things that you want to pay attention to, either freshly coming out of a cycle or going toward the end of the cycle with CS, is to make sure that you're not giving up CS for nothing. I think I counted like 4 or so times, like notably, that he did that to you, Wish. So you'll probably want to think on that a little bit more. It's like a abstract concept, but it'll help you like protect yourself on defense, I think, a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah. There was one specific time where I saw you chain shifted at the last second, like before the cycle was over, and you had like way more blocks than he did, so there was no way he was gonna win it because you're both sitting in neutral. But you thought like, oh, I can get the opening here, so you tried to use it, and you gave up a cycle. And that was like one of those things where it's like, that's not technically a wrong answer. Like if you get the hit there, then obviously I'm the idiot. But if you don't, then you know you've given up a lot of control for the next cycle.
It's not low risk, but it's definitely not high reward.
That's
the risk reward is not very good.
That's a good way to put it.
Because the potential reward for a CS is very high. It could be like your best punish or your get out of the corner for free.
Right.
But it's like the opportunity cost of your CS went to maintain neutral and give it to the opponent.
Yeah, which is why like a lot of the times at like the highest level play you'll see like the opponent tech your throw and then they'll change shift because they're just like, it's better for me to not worry about this situation than it is to hold this chain shift for longer.
Yeah, a bad feel, and I'll name drop someone. Havard is quite familiar with this person, just like I am. Someone like Big Black, for example, when you play him, like you've teched his throw, and you're like, all right, bet, like I'm plus like 7 or 8 or whatever. It's time to come in. He sees that 5B come out, and he's done like Plink 180 1AD. You gave up the red flash, and he supers you. It's just like,
right.
Fuck. It's like, oh no, I gave up, like, I had control, but, like, I tried to aggress even though I was plus, and, like, now I'm eating something for what I thought my advantage was. Like, that sort of mind game where you just do late CS to wait and see if somebody does something or not. Like, that mix is, like, really fun and, like, kind of frustrating at top level when you know you've, like, gotten baited into something.
That's funny because I always, like, a lot of the times at top level play, it's like almost gentleman's agreement. It's like, if you have CS and I tech a throw, we're both, I'm spending my CS and we're sitting back in neutral. And I'm not pressing a button after I tech. Yeah,
I feel like the meta has, like, kind of progressed in the last, like, couple years or so, because like immediately people were just like, all right, I'm minus, like CS I'm not minus anymore,
right?
But like people delaying it, or what's even more frustrating, because Red Blade does this really well, is you'll tech a throw, he'll wait for a second, if he didn't see you press something immediately, he smashes 5B or like 6B immediately with his CS, because you're waiting to bait his CS, but he's just like, I'm gonna take my turn, stupid, like what are you gonna do? Like it's so frustrating.
So yeah, that, like you're saying, like the natural evolution to that is like starting to play the mind game, which could be really frustrating because you could like feel like you've spent something for nothing, or you feel like you've like gotten a reward by like teching a throw and like just did nothing with it or something like that, and it feels like you're honestly always on the back foot.
It feels really, really bad, and that's one of the small advantages, or like small like knowledge pieces that top players start to lord over you.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot that goes into that, like how far the cycle is in, how many blocks that everybody has, what meter situation is, the tools that you have with said meter or said character. But like all of that obviously gets broken down in that moment as soon as possible, and that's like what top level players are able to do, is that they make those decisions almost before the match starts.
Yeah, I think player tendency definitely has a big draw on that. I would say like more conservative players probably aren't going to do something like that,
right?
But like we kind of joke and call them the protagonists, so like people like Aqua, Red Blade, Isaac, Venice, they will take as much advantage as like they can. It's like, it's always my turn, it doesn't matter, that.
Oh
that
man, but that's a really good way of putting it. Red Blade definitely plays the protagonist in games.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's been on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, he used his protagonist privilege against me last time I played him.
I really like that. That's a good way to put it. All right, wonderful. We're slightly over, but I didn't care because we're having a good talk. If you guys want to say anything,
I want to say one thing.
Go for it.
214C got buffed in this version,
yes,
but it honestly needs more buffs. It is very useful now as a combo tool, J214C and grounded 214C, but I feel like almost every character has a projectile invul tool, and Akatsuki's is a little bit lacking for how stifled his mobility is compared to other characters. That's all. It's not very good in this matchup. I tried it at round start.
Yeah.
and got blown up. I preempted the fireball and got blown up.
I haven't thought about that in grave detail. You might be right, but I feel like it does its job sometimes, and sometimes it feels like
I could just be complaining as an Akatsuki main also, but I think it could be better for actually beating projectiles without actually being too good.
You just move it more forward on the first hit.
Something like that. It could be like BB tags. You know, that goes like full screen or whatever.
Yeah.
I think even Bikatsu in that game travels most of the screen.
Yeah, it does. I would say that I'm probably in agreement with Havard there. This isn't like my statement or whatever, but I think it's at its best like going into the corner, or maybe if you have CS, but like in neutral, it feels like the reward, especially on grounded 214C, because like they just wall bounce and you can't do anything. It's like an air tech situation.
Right.
It doesn't feel very good.
It's low reward unless you're going into the corner, and it oftentimes doesn't work unless you're preempting the fireball.
Yeah. I guess if I would say anything, if I would like something from 214C, I would like that the grounded version gave the same knockdown benefits as the air version. That's probably
I think if you could combo off of it, I would agree, but you can't combo off of the air version either.
Yeah,
it's like unfortunate because it like shows you the little timer at the bottom, but it's like completely white, so you can't do anything. It's like oops. But yeah, what about you, Wish?
I just have two things to say. Thing number one, Kamune, if you're listening, I'm just saying, man, when Fireball hits and I'm throwing them, it should do more damage. You had it right in EL. There's still time. We can go back. If Byakuya can do all that off his throw, I deserve this. I think I deserve this.
I never intended this stream to be asking for developer buffs.
And number two, let me just paste this link in the chat real quick. Go sign up for Mizumi and edit your favorite games wiki. Do it, cowards. Yeah. You won't.
Your link got shot, but
just like is not allowed around here.
Yeah, Mizumi.
I'm in agreement with that too.
However, please be confident in your knowledge. Don't just put their stuff in there for no reason.
That's true.
Anyway,
things. I guess for my turn, I really just have like one thing, or two things, excuse me. First one, as always, I'm going to shout out my sponsor, Sugoi Factory. Thank you for allowing me to do a lot of the things that I'm able to do. And then the second one is shout outs to the Midwest community. I mean, I love you guys. Like, a lot of the work, not just the Midwest, but everybody, without support and without everybody being enthusiastic about what they do, you know, same thing for Sammy here, you know, coming on with our Aksys Games to host an Akatsuki corner for everyone. I'm just so grateful, you know, that everybody is interested and engaged in Under Night. It's super sick.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I feel like, you know, hands were dealt poorly when Claire came out around the time where everything closed up, but y'all are making the most of it, so good job to everybody. It
is tough to be super excited about Under Night in our online environment, but I'm glad there is like still a community that is.
Yes. Testament to how good the game is. Definitely. That you're willing to duke it out in delay-based netcode because the game is so awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of the main motivators behind still playing the game. The people and the game are great.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I'll close it up here. Thank you guys for everybody who joined me. Thank you to Havard and Wish for putting the show on for us. You guys are awesome. And that was a lot of fun to watch. Thank you for Juushichi, who just jumped in and provided expert opinion because he is way smarter and better looking than I am. So that makes sense.
I don't know about all that.
It's having him in here as an expert opinion. Other than that, that's it for us. Well, next week will be Atome games. We'll have Code Realize, Wintertide Miracles coming up. So we'll have Under Night in 3 weeks, I believe, and I'll be working on getting another awesome exhibition for you guys sooner than later. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. I know things are happening in the world, but I hope to see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.
Take it easy.
Thank you all.